Well, happy Monday, party people. I'm here with my new friend Scott from Lago Frame, and we're going to have a conversation about community building, platform, the future, and just in general, who you are, Scott. So, can you please
Well,
introduce
happy.
yourself? And I look forward to learning more about you and what you're doing at Lago Frame.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to have me on this show today. I'm really excited for everything that you're working on and what you're doing and how you're involved in the ecosystem. I guess the quick 30-second background for me, learned about Bitcoin in 2013 in Union Square. People were like handing Bitcoin back and forth. And I walked up to them as the curious human that I was. I'm like, what are you doing? And like, oh, yeah, this is Bitcoin. You want one? Fast forward, I was the co-founder, one of the co-founders of Portis, which is a standard Web3 wallet in the ecosystem. That, if you wanted to use a Uniswap or OpenSea or many of the dApps that exist, you could do it with an email and password, which we used end-to-end encryption to, protect you as the user, but enable you to log in on any phone, any browser, and give you that cloud-based experience. Eventually, we were acquired by Shapeshift. And during this whole period of time, I kept hearing friends, creators, artists say, how do we enjoy our NFTs? And I thought I was in a unique position to be able to solve that problem and put a team together to create Lago. And Lago is NFT native frame for minted art that we consider the most elegant frame for collecting and displaying and sharing your NFTs and minted works of art.
And so these are physical frames that go into a house or an office or an art gallery that you can have one piece or multiple pieces with some very, very cool interaction. Before we get all nerded out on tech and hardware, software stuff, let's talk about community for a moment. Right? The community that you have built and are building at Lago, if you want to talk about community that was built at Portis or just some future projections on the importance of community, let's talk about people for a moment.
I mean, I think people are everything in life in general, right? A technology and or a town and or an idea cannot happen without community. And the more you want to excel something, the more community you need because humans are energy in some sort. And the more we believe in something as a whole, we then can create the shared reality. If you think about the NFT world or crypto world in general, community is everything. There is a belief behind that. And even at Lago, we are so behind the idea of community that we want to enable a display system that is not just for displaying your NFTs, but a way to actually engage with NFTs through subscribing to other artists or curators and or collectors, and done in an easy way that you could display it on your home gallery, on your frame at your house, or even in a frame in a gallery. Even ways of renting from artists and thinking about getting art to galleries in different ways than what has been previously done in the past.
So, how about platform? I mean, talk to me about platform that is today, the platform that maybe your team is developing into. But let's talk a bit about the technology that supports this community that the community is a part of.
Yeah, sure. So I think there's really three core areas where we want to focus on as a frame provider in the space. One, that there's limited ways to display NFT art is the core problem, right? A lot of the TV displays in the ecosystem require tedious configuration to fit minted art into these frames. And that's just not a user experience which will lead towards adoption. Second is sort of difficult curation and access in the market. Now, I know you and a lot of the people in our current ecosystem know how to navigate OpenSea and SuperRare and Nifty Gateway and Foundation in these different marketplaces. However, these blue chip collectors that are coming into the space don't, and they're inundated with thousands of pieces, and it's not a great experience. Third, and we think one of the most important aspects is that there's no authenticity and provenance. Again, similar problem. I know you know how to go to Etherscan, check the metadata and check the provenance, but for a blue chip collector spending millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars on a large collection, that's not a good experience. What we've built to a couple different degrees is when you first log in and create your account, we check the metadata in your wallet at all times of what you actually own. So when you're showing it on the screen, it shows a verified watermark. And that's an option. You don't have to show that watermark. But reason why it's so important is because there is this whole social component behind it, sort of like Spotify. We have these droplet experiences where you could subscribe to Ian's gallery, or you could subscribe to Josie's gallery or mine if I want to make it public. And so we are creating this whole ecosystem in a platform built into a mobile application that connects with the frame itself. Now, if you want to push that even a bit further, I think generative art is some of the coolest art that's coming into the space, and programmable art. And so our frame not only enables you to view this, but now we become a canvas for creators to actually create on and think about in a new way. So we have hand gesture control. We have a camera built in to engage with. So an artist can like make art change based on your facial expression or how your voice sounds, or, connect with any wall that you have, or, battery and plug operated. Because if you think about galleries, not all galleries that are doing pop-ups will have access to, be able to plug into an outlet. And, obviously we have a sound bar, premium quality sound, and then high, 2K, 4K resolution to start with. And yeah, I don't know. We're really focusing on the creators, the curators, and the collectors when we're building Lago, and what we're keeping that in mind.
And one thing you didn't mention is you have the voice tech interaction, right? Amazon will call it Lexi, so I don't fire off people's speakers, right?
Yeah.
Call it Google's ass, right? We know what we're talking about. We don't want to fire off any speakers, but the ability for people to interact with your hardware, with their voice, I think is very forward thinking.
Yeah. Check this out.
Yeah.
Imagine maybe in Art Basel, maybe you're going to see something with Lago and an unnamed group, but maybe you're able to have a conversation with your art itself in an AI component NFT. This is doable with Lago Frame. And like maybe you want to like do a gesture control to zoom in, or like turn it around, or like find some hidden puzzles within it. Artists have total control of what they do with these APIs and how to create these interactivities. I don't know if you saw recently, but BT did a drop for Metaversal. And the person or the entity that won this auction, 888, is now going to receive a Lago frame with that. And when he receives the frame, or when they receive the frame, you're going to see the interactivity that BT built into Metaversal for a Lago frame. So a lot of cool stuff coming. I'm super excited.
Okay, I say NFT 2024. I say, what are your thoughts 2 years out? Now, maybe for you as a entrepreneur, maybe for Lago Frame as a corporation, or maybe in general, the industry. When you start thinking things out a couple of years, and if you try to have a positive perspective, like how could things go well, right? We know we'll face hurdles in this industry, but what do you project a couple of years out, NFT 2024?
First, I'll start on the personal side being Lago. I think, in 2 years' time, we aim to sell around 10,000 units in the first 2 years. During that period of time, we aim to continue pushing the boundaries of our technology, whether we move into, wearables and more augmented reality stuff. As you saw, like Dolce & Gabbana the other day come out with this beautiful, sick piece. We can enhance that for different fashion shows. We can enhance that through our wearables to make it a more of a real life experience. Lago wants to be that bridge between the metaverse and the physical. If you talk to a lot of the current collectors today, I see the correlation between where Bitcoin was early on, where, I think NFTs now obviously are gaining a lot more attraction the past, 6 months. However, right before that, I would say that NFTs were more niche, and you had your builders really pounding away at it. And similar to Bitcoin, at first it was for those builders. Eventually, institutions came in and say, you should diversify your assets, 10% allocation for Bitcoin. Some have more, some have less. I think NFT art and the collectibles and the gaming space will be very similar. I think the traditional art world will then diversify their assets, to a 10% allocation point. And I think one of the missing pieces for them was, how do they enjoy their NFTs? And I think we could really help solve that problem in a very high-end manner.
I like it. Well, I'm going to ask you for your final word. And before I do that, let me just acknowledge that our team at NFT NYC, we're thankful that you've come in as one of our sponsors. We honor you, what you've done, what you're doing. It's why we've asked you to speak in one of the panels. I got to interview Colborn from the Museum of Crypto Art earlier today. And so I know you'll be on a panel with him and Olive and some others talking about what is crypto art and why does it matter. So Scott, my friend, final word before we press end on this glorious live stream that we're doing right now.
Oh man, last word. I think that that's really tough to sum it up into one sentence. Listen, kindness is the only thing that doesn't fail, right? If you come to this space, be sincere, look to solve real problems and do it in a sincere, kind manner. And as why crypto art matters is interoperability and ownership, and immutability. I would say are the core of what this ecosystem is all about. Mm-hmm. Ian, thank you so much for your time. I had a blast. Can't wait to see you in person. It's been a long time coming.
I'll see you in New York. For anybody that's watching live or sees the archive, thanks for your attention. We do appreciate it. And I'll be back again with another pre-event